Welcome to the NYU Jazz interview series. Tonight we're welcoming our guests from South India. We have Selva Ganesh and the 3G, three generations of his family. Welcome.
Amazing.
And can you tell us about your family?
Yep. He's my father. I mean, actually, that's his group. So we just behind him. And he's a first South Indian Grammy Award winner, and he's the one who established the instrument called ghatam, which like a clay pot, which looks like a clay pot, and it is a clay pot. It's a ghatam. So he taught me, so I'm a son, so who plays the instrument called kanjira. And this is my son, so we again plays the same instrument called kanjira. And we are all from South India, and we belong to South Indian music, South Indian classical Carnatic music. So this is the family. And his father is also a musician who taught him, so which is my grandfather, and maybe his father's also.
And is your son, do you have a son?
Waiting.
Can you tell us what Carnatic music is?
Okay. In India, we have two different type of music, which is North Indian classical music and South Indian Carnatic classical music. And to put it in an easier way, I can say it like North India is more of jazz style of music, which is more improvisation. Of course, we do improvise. North Indian is like that. And South Indian is more funky. That's how we say it, like we belong to funk. So it's actually funky. And South Indian music, it has a composition which has been composed by Trinity, the greatest Trinity who have composed it, which is like Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshidhar, and Shyama Shastri. These are the three legends who have composed all the songs and everything. So we are in practice, we use those songs. But North Indian music, it's more, they do also have a composition, but they are more in improvise. They just come up on stage and do something. Of course, we do also do that, but certain songs and certain phrases, which is all fixed, but we improvise that phrases, but it's all with the phrases. So this is the major difference in South India and North Indian music.
I know that there's a connection with you and your family with John McLaughlin.
Oh yeah.
And I had John here a few months ago, and I interviewed him as well.
Oh, okay.
Can you talk about Shakti? And
Yeah.
remember Shakti?
Yeah, I think when I was 2, I think he joined in Shakti when I was 2 year kid. So the first Shakti, when Joe McLaughlin wanted to collaborate with the Indian musician, and of course he and Zakir Bhai, they know each other for a long time because of Ali Akbar Khan School, College of Music. So that's where they met and everything. And then somehow John was introduced by one of the mridangists from in California, El Shankar. I'm sorry, in New York, in El Shankar. So then that mridangam player and El Shankar, John and Zakir Bhai, they all started playing the group called Shakti. And John felt it like a mridangam, the instrument mridangam, which is a South Indian percussion instrument, and tabla, which has a similar sound. So he wanted something different. And then El Shankar said, and my dad used to play with El Shankar in classical form. So El Shankar said, why don't you try this musician who has a different instrument called ghatam. Of course, John already got into Indian music, and he knows South Indian rhythm, and because he was trained from one of the greatest veena player called Balachandar. So he already knows about Indian music. So he said, okay, let me check. So Johnji reached India, and then he toured a little bit with El Shankar and El Vaidyanathan, and they are the brothers, and he was introduced, and then they jammed it, and then John asked him, do you want to join my group? It's called Shakti. And for him, that period, it's fusion means oh no, we have a tradition, we follow the tradition, we play only Carnatic music, we are not into fusion, we don't even do a interaction with the North Indian music. We are like South Indian, we do only South Indian music. So that was the period, when he got an offer to play with the fusion band. And then he was also working in All India Radio. It's a government job as a musician. And because the offer was like this, he has to come to America for 6 months, means 2 months they need to practice, and then they tour, and then it goes on. So he said 6 months taking off from the office, then maybe I'll be fired, And if I'm fired, then I won't get the pension. In India, which is really important for the government job, is pension. After they retire, they get the pension. So he said, no, this is a pension job. I don't want to retire. And he was like confused. But his father, which is my grandfather, he said, no, go for it. If you really wanted to take this instrument somewhere else to a different level, if you want to establish your music into different people, go for it. Because he always says, like, one person as idol, and he's like example for all Indian musicians is Pandit Ravi Shankar. So he says that's the way he look onto it. To see, now Indian music is like, when in all over the world over that period, if you say Indian music, they know only sitar, and they say tabla. Sitar and tabla, it's Indian music. But like, there are other form of Indian music also. My grandfather foreseed it. He said, if you want to do like what he did it, go for it. And then he said, of course, still with me and my son also, we listen to father. And that's a culture, we follow it. So he said, of course, I have to go because when you say it, but I'm just thinking, you also think it one more time, like, because it's a government job. If I take a leave for 6 months, then I'll be off. Like, I won't get this job back. Then the pension and everything, think about it. He said, don't worry about it. Throw your job and go. So the next day he went and he gave his letter back. I said, like, I'm resigning my job. And then people said, are you mad or what? Like, it's very tough to get a government job and you are like in a grade, like top grade. You really wanted to do it? I said, yeah, no option, because my father said, and his father is his guru. And in India, culture is like that, you listen to guru, you listen to your father. So he said, okay, I'll go for it. Then he went in. That's how he joined Shakti. And then now, he's a South Indian Grammy, he's a first South Indian Grammy Award winner, and then he got exposed, and all over the world they know get him, it's all because of him. And it's not because of him, because of his father, who foresaw. He said, go for it. So that's the one. So that's the story about Shakti. And then, like, everyone knows about Shakti. And I still remember, like, when I joined Shakti, I'll come back to that, and John used to say, like, we used to open Weather Report. And then the Weather Report drummer used to come and stay for our show because he wanted to hear your father's solo. Vikku's solo is like, really rock on. And then he always says, like, you guys are funky. You, especially with him, like, he says, like, it's funky, you want to use it. You hear it. So he always says, like, he's like a father of groove. And then he always says, like, whenever I come up with a new piece, first thing is I'll call your dad. I said, Vikku, this is the piece, find the groove. So he always come up with a groove, like a really like tight groove. And that's how he says it. So that's the Shakti which is born, like, when they were like touring. I still remember when they toured in India, one of my father's real friend, Yusuf Kandi, who got them into India. So they all came to my house. I still remember I was like, I was like a kid and then moving around and wanted to show off something, like I also play music and things like this. And I didn't even dream it. I cannot even dream that I can play with Shakti, because that's maybe like, I might have dreamed it saying like, if John has a son who plays the guitar, if El Shankar got a son who plays the violin, then I'm his son, and then Zakir Bhai's son. So maybe we can form a group, and then like, all sons group, the next generation group. I might have thinked it like, but I never ever dreamed that I'm going to be part of Shakti. So that's the Shakti. And what I'm saying is, when they did a concert in Chennai, in South India, in the city where I live, I still remember that I was on stage next to him. And we do also have a culture in India, like a disciple or like a son, they sit next to him, like, listening on stage. It's like there are a lot of people. I said, like, okay, this many people you're going to play? No. We have 4 musicians. He has 2 guys who sits on stage, and then I have 4 guys who's like sits on keeping a talo. So it's like a culture. So the same culture which followed, like when they played the fusion concert, when Shakti, I was on stage with him, like, and then trying to grab the lemonade which they had it, because I didn't listen to music. I was like, oh, there is 4 lemonade, let me grab all those things and drink on stage. So like I was doing that, but I still remember. And later on, like, when I joined Remember Shakti, John took me to his place, to his studio, took me upstairs. He said, I wanted to show you one photo. So he showed it to me, the Chennai concert, and I was like, drinking lemonade in behind, like they were sitting. So I cannot even dream about it. So when they formed in 1999, they did one concert in London. It's called Remember Shakti. They also did the album with Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia, the flautist. So John, Ariji, Zakir Bhai, and my dad, they played it. And that was like they called it Remember Shakti, but like, half an hour, Hariji did his classical music, and John Ji did one song with Zakir Bhai, then they did one song together, so they made it an album. And then something struck John. I said, like, let's do a tour. I want to do, remember Shakti. I want to do that. Then they said, like, Hariji was busy. And then also he feels it like, I wanted to do separate and Shakti separate. Then we'll do one piece. And John doesn't want it. He wanted like a Shakti. So then he found mandolin U. Srinivas, one of the greatest mandolin player. And then Zakir Bhai was saying, like, Vikku is like getting old and he has a school and thing he has to follow. Can we have his son? So John said, okay, but I need to check how he plays it. Like, I said, okay, why don't you come for this concert? We are playing in Paris with the great violin player, like violin duo brothers. And then Vikku is also there and Selva is also playing with me. So come and check. But I didn't know about that, okay? So John is showing up to the concert to check me. I didn't know about that, okay? So we were all in the concert in Paris, Theatre de la Ville. That's the theatre we played it. So we were in, and Zakir Bhai told me, today you know who is coming? I said, who? John. I said, John who? John McLaughlin. Oh my God. Okay, I was happy. Wow, John McLaughlin is coming. And he was so happy. I said, it's my brother. I said, okay, cool. So I didn't know that he's coming to check me, but I said, I want to impress John. Like, because after a long time I'm seeing, because he saw me when I was a kid, and now I'm going to meet him, so I want to impress him. So it's always like, a few things which always comes in every musician's mind. So I was on stage and we did a concert. And that day, Zakir Bhai was giving me more space to play. I just like, wow, it's new to me. Okay, I'm okay, I'll play. So I was doing, and then usually I do like a shorter show. So when I finish my solo, no, go play, go for it. Then I said, okay, if you're saying it, I'll go for it. So I did it. Like, I just really went it, and then everything was done. After the show, he showed up to the backstage, and then Zakir Bhai was playing. John said, okay, that's even that time I didn't know. And John came, like, he said, like, wow, I couldn't believe, like, you were Vikku-san, I saw you, blah, 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 all went out, okay. The next day morning, they did this one show for the album, which they did it. So they need to do this in the record show. It's like signing. So he went it, and John said, you want to jam with me? I said, wow, are you sure? Like, yeah. So I went and jammed with him, like me, Zakir Bhai, and him. Like, maybe my dad was also there. So we all jammed it, like, I was like really having fun and play. Cool. And then after that concert, he said, okay, what are you doing in October or November? I said, yeah, I'm cool. Okay, remember Shakti. I said, what? Remember Shakti. I know that, Remember Shakti. So my dad and you, no, this is the new group. So you're joining. I said, oh my God, did I play good? He said, yeah. Am I joining in the group? He said, yeah. Oh, okay. Wow. So that was my thing. So 1999 to 2007, we did a tour, like in almost like 11 years. Shakti.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let me ask you, because your music is very verbal, it's very vocal.
Yeah.
And you notice how I'm speaking slowly.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're speaking very fast, quickly. And it's like, I can't imagine that I could play your music as proficiently as you, because I'm hearing you speaking English very quickly, but when I hear you speaking your native language, it's very quick.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the same rhythms
exactly
that you use in your music.
Yeah, it's also like, it goes with the language we speak. It's a Tamil, the language, which is really fast.
Yeah.
So maybe it's all because of that. Even today, when I was taking a ride from Uber, like from the place where we are staying from here, and this guy like, hi, welcome, come in. And then first thing I asked him, what kind of a music you listen to? And then he said, classical. I guess so. Like, classical musician, they take it, or like everything speech. Like, oh, are you from India? Oh my God, it's good. Thank you for coming in. I was like, oh, thank you. Like, can I get in? Can I put the bags in the bag? I said, are you a musician? He asked me, are you a percussionist? I said, yes, I guess so. So everything reflects, like, the way you behave. The way it's also musical. Like, we, for example, this is our vocal percussion. It's called konokol. So we can roll it such a way, like, it's
yeah.
So that's how it works. So everything, like, goes with your music, and the way we eat, the way everything is like it to that. So that's the konokol.
All right, let me try it now.
That's cool.
So my question now is, how did John McLaughlin learn this?
Oh,
Because he probably didn't get involved in this until his
no,
20s.
Yeah, but see, when you got introduced to Indian music, that's where, like, I think Ali Akbar Khan Sub School, the school of Ali Akbar Khan Sub. So that's where he went in, and then he wants to try something. Of course, it's all one person who's, maybe I would put it like, who spoiled it, okay? But Pandit Ravi Shankar, who did it, and everybody, that's where, like, the Indian music is shown. And people say, wow, this is something different. I wanted to learn that and then put it in my music. So thank him, like, to bring the Indian music into a different level. So that's where the roots comes in, and they started listening to Indian music, and then, like, the Indian music exposed, and then a lot of stuff like it. But it's more of North Indian music, right? So when John met the violin player L. Shankar and his uncle Ramanath Raghavan, who played one song in the first album in the Mridangam, in Shakti, original Shakti. He played one song because he was the original member of Shakti, actually speaking. And then my dad joined it. So he was, like, giving him the combinations of numbers in one cycle, how he does it. For example, I'm just giving you 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. That's the thing. So when you're doing taka, chukka, taka, chukka, chukka, taka, chukka, paka, everything 4. And he says, John, how about this? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Packet, packet, praka, takit, praka. Still, it's 16, but you subdivide that, do it like that. Oh, that's good. Then he said, do 7 and 9. 3, 4, 5, 4. So he was giving all the numbers. I said, like, this is interesting. Let me go for that. What is it? So he said, this is South Indian music. That's how we do it. For example, when a mridanga player or me accompanying a vocalist, in North Indian music, they give it like a groove. Ta. They give him like a cycle, how it goes in. But we play with them, right? So even we used to bet. We said, okay, today concert, the whole concert, if we keep only the groove, I'll give you 50 rupees, $50. But here and there you start improvising it, you have to give him 50. Nobody wins because we always play not that always, like, filling up here and then improvising, like, and then when I'm playing it, can I get a solo? Of course you are playing solo even on the song, so why you need a separate solo? Like, it's like that, like, so we are like that. But it made him interesting for composing. Like, just imagine if you play, so those kind of, like, we come, so he said, wow, that makes me interesting. So he came to, like, to South India to learn this. So that impressed him a lot. He said, like, whoa, I'll find it more interesting in South India. That's where, like, the lot of rhythm, like, we are like that. And if you see it, all the top mathematicians, they're all from South India. And, like, all the formulas, all the thing, like, it works in South India. So we are like that. So that made him interesting. He said, like, oh, that makes me easy to compose it. Even, like, when I met him first time, when he was explaining the pieces, he was started saying konakol. He said, Selva, this is like taka 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 da. I thought, okay, it made it easy. Oh, okay, I don't have to listen to it. I just know the rhythm. I don't even, we never write, so it's all here. So we played it. So for him, like, this is the beautiful language which can explain and also which can translate your music into this or to this. Like, to convey something to you, it became easy and this became a bridge. So for him, which makes him, is like, wow, this is what it is. And after the long tour, then at the end of the day, he was like, one day we were traveling and he said, Selva, what is my long way dream? To show it to world, for the jazz world. This is the one you all have to learn. So we made a DVD, me and him, saying, like, Gateway of Rhythm. So he said, like, how the konakol will help you in any genre of music. It can be jazz, it can be, like, hard rock, funk, metal, whatever, which will be used, which is really useful. So we made that DVD. That really helped me a lot, because now if you say, like, I have a guitar musician who is learning konakol to learn this all concept of Indian rhythm, which really helps. For example, like what I said, like 4/4, or take 2 cycle, which is 16. Like, 16, like 8 beat. 8 beat has 4/4 counts, which is 32. Immediately I can do 2 plus 3 10s. 2, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4, 6. 2, 3, 7, 3, 7, 3, 7. 2, 2, 8, 2, 8, 2, 8. 2, 1, 9, 1, 9, 1, 9. It's all 32. How I can do fast? Because we have a logic. We have a small formula which works immediate. So this will help for the improvisation, this will help for the composing, and this is also help for the give a bass line and everything. So that made him interesting, and that was like, drawn into South Indian music.
Well, just trying to connect with Western music with you guys is the point here. Is there anything that you've taken from Western music, jazz, maybe what John has brought to your music?
Yeah, here and there, like because see, it's like this. Especially like any culture, any genre, when you hear it, when you hear a different music, immediately you translate to your language, right? It is always like that. So whenever I hear different music, I immediately translate to mine. So it doesn't stay as what it is. It's always converted into my music. So in that case, like I have grabbed everything. I mean, like from metal to rock to hip hop to like funk to jazz, everything. Like then I have one instrument, small kanjira, that I started playing those things. Like and especially as I said earlier, we are so much related to funk. Our music, like it's more funk, and we start with it's like that. So when I hear funk, when I hear like more of that, it's immediately I said, I know this, I know where I'm coming from. So when it comes to jazz, I know this too, because when I play the slow song, I play like that. I said, oh, I know it, I do that. So immediately when I translate it, so I get it. So only one good thing, like when I travel with John, he was like exploring, like, okay, this is Miles Davis, and this is John Coltrane, and this is what, and this is standard jazz. So he was explaining to me. And when I started touring with Ustad Zakir Hussain, he was saying, this is this is the drummer, Pakadoli, Pakoseri, the great drummer, and this is like Dennis Chambers, and this is like Tony Williams. You hear it. So as a percussion player, he showed it to me who are the best drummers, and as a guitarist, as the melodic musician, he showed me what is the best. So only thing is, I got a chance to hear those things, and then to grab and then adapt that. That's it. That helps me a lot.
Wow. Going back to Western connection, I think the earliest that I can imagine like Indian music getting infused into Western culture was probably through the 60s with people like the Beatles that were going.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's like prior to that there was very little, maybe John Coltrane, and music kind of transcends borders, right?
Yeah.
And it's like we know more about India and that part of Asia more than politics and and religion, maybe more than through music, and not really talking about it, but just listening and understanding each other as humans.
Yeah, of course. See, we always say only in music we don't have religion. We don't have religious stuff, and we don't have different gender of human. It's all. For example, in India, we have a culture that females, women, when they get married, they have to be at home. They cannot go out, or they cannot show it up, or if they want to work, they cannot do it. That's the real culture. But it was breakthrough. He had his first female student who started learning ghatam, which is like ghatam. It's the heaviest instrument. And it's not easy. If you see him in his hand, and it's all cracked, break, just imagine about the woman doing that. But she was a bold woman, and she's famous now. She's like first South Indian woman to play the instrument ghatam. After that, they were like mridangam players. Then they had started tawil player, ganjira, singer. Everything started coming out. So only the music doesn't have a boundary. At the same time, we have certain limits. I said, okay, we don't go out of that. That was like in 70s, in 80s. So even that was broken. I still remember in 80s, when he was really famous with Shakti and everything, almost they banned him to play in real classical Carnatic music. If it is a traditional, he says, no, he's a fusion player. It means he did something sin, which is I cannot take him to a religious or whatever. And then they always say fusion, it's confusion. So they have this kind of a statement who always says it. But now if you say it, fusion is part of music. It's become one genre of music, and it has own culture. Like, they have progressive jazz, and they have progressive rock, and mixed fusion, fusion. That became one culture. And then now they're making a culture. Fusion is like this. I said, who said? In 80s you said there is no fusion. And if you do fusion, you are banned. And now you are saying like fusion is this, you have to do like this. What? So I always say is the rules is made by human, but music is given by God. If you go with God, you get the best. If you go with the human, you get limits. So this is my father's statement. He always says, because he learned it from his father. So he always says, go with God. So music is given by God, search for it. And you always have to search. You cannot say like, I have got something. No, then go for it, go for more. Search. Searching is the best thing in music. So that's what it is happening.
So what are your aspirations now? You guys are masters of this music. And what would you like to do?
Oh, as I said the one before, like still I wanted to search. And I want to search for something. And one thing what he said is like, okay, there is this. You want to learn how to swim, right? You learn how to swim. Now you decide you want to just do it for your health exercise, where you can just go to the swimming pool and do that. Second thing, participate in the Olympics or competition, get a medal, things like this. That's one way. Third thing is go to sea and search for something. So you choose what you want to do it. Only thing is you learn swimming, which is you learn music. So you wanted to like, oh, I wanted to sit at home, I'll do here and there. Or second is I wanted to work hard, get my name, I get money, and then like, when I walk in, everybody comes here and says, oh, guy, can you sign it, blah, blah. This one is that. Or go and search for it. So these are the three things, like a swimming. So what do you want to do? I said, okay, first two thing is I know it. Like people are there like just to learn music and just like sitting at home, they can listen and understand, okay. Second thing is name and thing, like I can get a name, money and everything. But when you said search for it, how do I do that? I don't know. What do I search for it? So when I do a concert, do I listen to something or like, how do I search it? Said, simple, start teaching. When you start teaching, you will find something new. You can, when he always says when we teach, it doesn't mean that I know everything, that's what I'm giving it to you, no. When I'm sharing something, I always learn something. And always, where you learn, when someone asks you a question, and you trying to like, convince him to say this is the answer, it's actually not an answer. Nobody have answer for any question. Only thing is, it's my perspective. I'm saying this is my answer. It doesn't mean that is the answer, right? Mm-hmm. It's always like that. So it means start doing that and search for it, and you will definitely get it. So that's my vision now.
Wow, I love you guys. Well, Selva Ganesh
Yep.
and the three generations, it's time to hear you play.
Oh yeah, it's our pleasure.
So it would be our honor to hear you tonight.
Oh, it's our pleasure to be here. I'm so happy and I'm so glad, to be part of this interview. And I know there's a lot of students, learning different music, and this is the great opportunity for us to show what is our music. And then, if you get a chance, look for this and learn for this or hear for it, because we should always keep our ears and mind open, and that's what we're going to do it now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Siva, 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 takita dikita datta kinata din ding ginata dang dong din ding dong dong takita dinta dinta takita dinta takita takita tam tading ginata tam takata 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 haridu mariyamanum தெரிந்தும் தெரியாமலும் செய்த சகல குற்றங்களையும் பாவங்களையும் மன்னித்து ரட்சித்து காரியத்து எமக்கு நிச்சயம் நீ அருள வேண்டும் 100 கண்ட ஸ்ரீ மகாபெரியவா சரணம் சரணம் சரணம்
There was Shiva Thandav. It's a piece what we played it. And in South India, we feel it. The rhythm comes from Lord Shiva's instrument, Dhamaru. I don't know if you all know Lord Shiva. He's a father of elephant god. So everyone knows elephant god. So his father, who had an instrument called Dhamaru. So we always start any concert with a piece called Shiva Thandav. The next one, which we're going to do it, it's more of the vocal percussion, what we said it before. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to leave it to my dad to do a solo on his instrument. So ta taka din din da gada gada takita taka din da taka din da gada gada takita taka din da taka din da gada gada takita taka din da taka din da gada gada takita taka din da
தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக தேதி தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக தோம் தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக தோம் தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக தோம் தே 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 தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக தாங்கடதக தரிகடதக 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 தரிகடதக
The instrument which he's going to play, it's called morsing. It's like a, yeah, it's made of iron, and it's a very tiny instrument. It's also a South Indian percussion instrument, traditional South Indian percussion instrument.